Hello, my name's Adrienne from Jaskiran Astrology, and I was inspired to come on here and talk about a couple of special alignments that are happening today. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the chart. There we go. So this is today, Eastern Standard Time at 7 p.m. So what is interesting about today that I find there are three alignments. This one I've been talking about in my moon reports, which you can find at Jaskiran Astrology on my Substack account. I do them every 2 weeks and try to describe the energies that are happening. So this particular one I've been watching because Mars is like our drive, our energy, our will, what we intend to do, how we intend to use our energy. And it's really linked to Pluto. It's very instinctual. It comes from a very deep place within us. We're all driven to do different things. And when we're looking at a chart like this is the transit chart for today. We're talking about what is happening for the collective. Now, for each one of us, this would be a transit chart. So you would pull up your chart and look at the transits for today, and it would tell you exactly where this is happening in your chart. For example, Aries is in my third house. So all of this Mars North Node conjunction with Chiron is happening in my third house. And here I am third housing it, communicating it to you all today. So I just want to start talking about Pluto because Pluto is the underlying like undercurrent of what's happening. It's like the soul of humanity, the soul of our individual selves at the same time. And what's happening, Pluto in Aquarius, now it's retrograde, so we are accelerating this individuation process, going back over something that needs another look, so that when it resumes forward, which will happen in January, it'll move into it'll go back into Aquarius. It's actually going to retrograde all the way back into Capricorn for a little while. But it's to pick up some more information, something that we need a little closer look at. But anyway, the underlying energy is to break free from the conditioning that we've all had. And so in relation to Mars and the North Node basically is our emotional selves, our identity. So on our individual charts, it would be our future identity. When we're talking about a transit chart, we're talking about the identity of humanity. And so Aries is this brand new beginning. It's very instinctual. It is the Mars energy. And basically what it's saying is we are emotionally going to evolve in a brand new direction. That is the underlying energy. And right now you can see that both Mars and the North Node are at 14 degrees, but Mars is at 1 minute. And I think later on tonight, or maybe in the wee hours of the morning, it will exactly line up. So that by the time we wake up tomorrow, we will definitely be, Mars will definitely be slightly past the North Node. And then by the full moon on Tuesday, Wednesday, it'll be a couple of degrees past the North Node, where we will be well on to the beginning. What I've noticed is that there's this feeling where I want to step forward in life, but it's almost like there's an energy that's holding me back, like I have to attend to some more issues before I can step forward. I don't know if anybody else is feeling that way. But that's really special that there's one alignment. But if you look over here, we see that Venus and Uranus are also in an exact conjunction at 23 degrees Taurus. And what this is referring to, Taurus is the energy of how we survive. It also links to what we need to survive. And by that, it is what we value. It also is linked to the body, what's inside ourselves. Taurus is the energy that is pulled inward to like anchor things within inside our body. And it's ruled by Venus, and Venus is also in Taurus, and these two planets have come together, which basically say to me that we are breaking away, Uranus, breaking apart a pattern of relating to ourselves, both the inner self and the outer world is falling away, and a new relationship is beginning. And that's what we see here with this conjunction. And it was exact earlier today, but still at the 23 degrees mark. So it draws the attention. And then this final, third and final conjunction that is at an exact point is this Jupiter and Sun conjunction. And you see it's, probably within the next hour or two that Jupiter will begin the new phase. But what Jupiter does is expand everything that it touches. And it's about our right brain. It's about the flowier part of the brain, this most artistic, the wanderer, the what if energy. It causes our brains to wonder what more there is in life. And it's a freer energy than it is with the left brain, which is very ordered, and this is called this and this is called this, and it's exactly this, and there's no room for shifting. The right brain sees things in a more flowy nature. And so this is the nature of expansion. We need that flowy nature, this nature to move to change our environment so that we can grow. There's this this phenomenon that happens when excuse me, this phenomenon that happens when we are in a particular place for a long period of time, that it's almost like we become desensitized to our environment. We walk around and you almost can't, how you like lose your keys? They're right there, but you just can't really see them because things sort of get lost when we're used to things. It's like the attention to the detail kind of diffuses over time. And so the opposite, this is the Mercury energy, the Gemini energy, and the opposite of that is Sagittarius. And Sagittarius says, let's go to a new place. And when you go to a new place, your mind is and eyes are at a heightened alert, like, because anything can happen. So this energy of moving into a new place or expanding really brings this heightened energy to our consciousness. We are more alive with what we're seeing. And if you tune into my moon report, you will understand that that's what's happening during this full moon. But for today, because these alignments are exact, what I'm seeing is this light being shown on what's happening within the body. What we have typically been accustomed to with how we relate to ourselves and other people is breaking apart, and something new is expanding, and we're shining the light on it. That's how I see this large conjunction up here in the 7th house. Now, what connects all of this is this south node. And so the nodes are moving, or the nodes are not moving, they're integrating this past way of being where we orient ourselves toward anything that's outside of us. So this is our teachers, our parents, starting off as the first relationships that we have, our teachers when we're in school, our friends. Peer pressure is a big item for how we decide, even what clothes to wear, or how to behave, or what even to say. And then we, ever expanding circles of what's outside of us, all the way to we're paying attention to the cultural word of how we should act. And this is the Libra energy of the South Node. This is how we have identified ourselves through this very outside social lens. And the North Node is our future identity, and it basically says that we are going to be identifying with ourselves, with our inner qualities. And this can be very uncomfortable, hence the Chiron there, which is a wound. And it's really a wound that has to do with humanity over long periods of time. From, the time that we lived in caves and in early tribal societies, it was safety in numbers. You didn't strike off by yourself, we don't go swimming out in the deep ocean by ourselves. We always have somebody because something can happen. And so there are safety in numbers. And so there's this inner wound that doesn't really allow us to step out on our own. But we've evolved quite a bit from there, and stepping out on our own and doing the things that come from within um, will be uncomfortable. For example, we may wish to leave our families and go and climb Mount Everest. And we won't do that because we are so linked to outside of ourselves, like, well, who's gonna, take the kids to school, or whatever the outside and inner arrangement are. We tend to not do what's coming from within because we need to satisfy this outer need. And I think that this is what this North Node, South Node relationship is. But Mars says, no, we are stepping into a very new direction. And I feel like this energy that I've been feeling to tie up these loose ends before we step forward is just that we have things that we have to do to give ourselves the freedom to be able to move forward. And so I'll be curious if you want to answer in the comments whether anybody else is feeling this. So yeah, this is what I see that's happening. Another thing that's really important in this energy is Neptune is at the last degree of Pisces. And it's going to move very close to the Aries cusp, but it's not going to go there. It's actually going to retrograde and go back and also pick up some more information as we turn meaning into what it means for us. But it's an interesting thing because Pisces is like the energy of the oneness. It's the energy that exists without all these rules and limitations and without how we describe everything. It's very diffuse. Anything can happen in this energy. And I think that it's in this holding space for a time, because as we begin to shift from this outer world, focus on the outer world to the inner world, it sort of releases these boundaries and limitations that we have, that we might not step forward. So I think that that's a pretty interesting perspective. And like I said, all of this is linked to Pluto in Aquarius, where we are breaking free from these constrictions that have kept us from evolving forward. I mean, I don't know, most of you probably are aware that we're watching our society disintegrate, and something new is coming to replace it. I don't find it to be anything to be fearful of for myself. I'm aware that some people will feel fear, will feel some deep hidden emotions that are coming to the surface, particularly because this energy of Taurus, its opposition is in Scorpio. So there's a lot of deep emotions that are coming up. I know myself, I've been dealing with some deep emotions coming to the surface and trying to work through them. Very often in our culture, we try to push them aside. These deep emotions, it's hard to work with. that you just don't even want to go there. And so they really stay hidden, and then they begin to fester and cause some limitations and irritations in our, you know, field, our emotional field. So part of this energy to break free and to look at what's happening inside our bodies, and really to attune to ourselves is really important in this Mars North Node Chiron energy that's coming up for us. One of the things that I have been writing about is that as we tune into our bodies, we notice that we have a lot of sensations that are coming up in our bodies. And these sensations are valuable for us to help guide us as to what to do and what not to do. And we haven't been taught to do that. We've literally, South Node in Libra, been taught to seek the answers to these questions and the guideposts that we follow outside of ourselves. So it's what the teacher says, it's what our parent says. And we've all fed into this willingly. It's not like it's been any kind of it's part of our evolution to do that. But what's happening now is a new cycle. North Node in Aries, Mars in Aries, while Neptune is at the last degrees of Pisces. And I believe at some time next year, Neptune will move into Aries, and everything will be new and different. So I hope that this has been helpful for you. Definitely reach out to me. My email is heartplace@peoplepc.com, and I do readings, and I can look at your chart and help you interpret what's going on for you. Shortly, my website will be up, probably in the next week or two, and I'll let you all know when that happens. But I want to thank you all for listening. And like I said, I hope this was helpful for you to understand the energies that are happening. I know for myself, there's this excitement, yet this is holding back space. And because I'm aware of these changes, it's very exciting times for our future. So again, thanks for listening, and I hope this was helpful. Bye now.